How's it going, everybody? My name is Jonathan. I'm a physical therapist and founder of Rise Rehab and Fitness. Today we're going to talk about an exercise that I think a lot of people come to me with any kind of shoulder pains or just want to know how to do it the correct way, and that's the bench press. Very common. A lot of people incorporate that in their workouts. If you're not, it is kind of a fundamental exercise that the human body should be able to do, which is your push. Abe is going to help us demonstrate. One of the things that people end up doing too often is they start too high up on the bar. Okay, and then your head is way above the bar level, so if you're laying straight down. It should be at eye level when you first grab it, so rack it. So he's gonna slide down, the bar should be at eye level, okay? So that when he pulls it, it's at eye level, and then you're gonna bring it down towards your chest. So now he's in the perfect position. As he descends, it's gonna land right over the chest line, the nipple line, and he's gonna push back up. Okay, another thing that happens, you can rack it if you want. Another thing that will happen a lot, and when people come to me, is they say they have shoulder pain when doing this exercise. Very common to get shoulder pain when you're doing this exercise. The mistake ends up being is you flare your elbows out a little too much. It's a very vulnerable position for the shoulder. So what you want to do is bring your elbows in and tuck. You also want to squeeze your shoulder blades in the back, and that's why you can tell Abe is kind of arching his back. Which brings me into the next possible mistake, which is people will arch a little bit too much and will actually lift their bottom up from the bench. Never do that. There's gonna be too much pressure on the back of your shoulder, and you're also gonna create a pressure point in your back, a terrible position. So you wanna tighten up your core. The reason why people arch their back is because they wanna squeeze their shoulder blades back and down and use your lats to help stabilize your shoulder. Excellent, that's great. But your bottom has to stay on the floor. You're gonna create too much of an arch. Don't overdo something that's supposed to help you. So we're gonna grab the bar and show the good form. So it's at eye level. The part where you grab on the bar is gonna vary for each person. It's not really worth it to go into where you should grab it because it's gonna vary on your chest width level. Do it based on how you feel and what gets you the best chest contraction. So those elbows are gonna be tucked in. They could even be a little bit more tucked in, but the most important thing is he's not completely out. He's lowering down to the chest, and he's going up. He's not bouncing off the chest because then you're losing the effect. It's just all slow and controlled movements. It's perfect. And his bottom stayed onto the mat. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is your foot position. Bench, in a weird way, actually is a full body workout because when he grabs the bar, you got any more in you? When he grabs the bar, he's going to dig his feet into the ground. What happens if you're too short, okay? The best thing to do is stick some plates under. I'll grab these quick 10s, but obviously use bigger plates. We'll put them under here. You may need multiple, whatever it is that you need to lift up and bring the floor closer to you so you can really plant and keep your hips onto the bench. But that's a bench press, the safest technique. There is another factor you can add is if it's still hurting your shoulders, the front of the shoulders to bench, you can use what's called the underhand grip, which is another skill set in and of itself. So he's gonna grab the bar just like this. It's a little harder to grab, but then when you're here, if you have shoulder pain when you do a conventional press, this should almost completely eliminate it. Some people don't feel the chest as much when they're doing this, but in terms of what the shoulder bone is doing in comparison to the chest, it's gonna get the same workout. It's just gonna take a little bit of a learning curve. That's great, you can rack it.